friends, welcome to Around the House. If you are a first-time gardener, you're probably like me when I first started gardening, and you see terms like thinning and transplanting and seed transplanting and all these different garden words, and you may not know what they are. So I'm going to go through the process on this channel, like what thinning is. I'll show you that when I'm out in my garden, when I'm thinning seedlings. And today we're gonna be talking about what it is to transplant a seedling. So in one of my previous videos, we planted these out. This is a 72 cell tray. And these are all starts that I put seed in the soil, the seed germinated, and now we have plants. But now these little plants are starting to get overcrowded. We don't want them to get root bound, which is basically, hey kitty, you wanna be involved in this video? You want them to develop a good, healthy root system. So you wanna give them room to grow. If they think that they have reached their max, excuse you, if I would leave them in here, their roots would get too big. She wants to steal the show. Excuse you, Belle, can you please move? If I were to leave them in here, this plant would start to think that it's reached its full capacity for root growth, and it would start to bear little flowers. We do not want these things to flower before we put them in the ground. So I'm gonna take these little plants out and transplant them into a bigger pot. This, I believe, is probably a 6-inch pot, and we will take it from here and put it in here, and then this will stay in here until we are ready to move this out into the garden space in probably a month or so. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like with my cat on my lap. As always, you wanna make sure that you have something to mark your plants with. I'm gonna use these markers here, and then when I plant them in the ground, I can stick this in the ground as well. So it's a nice, durable, waterproof plant marker. These I just got at the local co-op. You could probably find them on Amazon or even Home Depot, any local garden store. We'll also link below. Put this in there. So to pull these out in the best way, look under here. You can kind of see how each is individual. I'm gonna find that individual cell there, and I'm just gonna kind of help this little guy push up. And just pull really lightly on that stem. You don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to disrupt anything. Now look at this. See the roots down there? You want to make sure they're all intact. And peppers are pretty good with root disruption, so if you do pull them a little too hard and it kind of yanks the roots a little bit, don't get too worried. Still plant it. This is a cayenne pepper, and these leaves have me mesmerized. They're like purple and green. This was a cayenne pepper blend from Botanical Interest, which I'll link below, the seed variety that I used for this one. So we got this little guy. You're gonna take your pot here. So we have a pot here, and I'm just gonna make a hole in the middle. And I'm just gonna put that beautiful root system in there. And we're just gonna build that soil up. Hey girly, you wanna help? Okay, and so that's what it'll look like. So we have a tiny little pot and this big pot. It'll grow. We'll still keep this inside under the grow light. We still have, I believe, 5 weeks till our last frost. So this won't get put out for a while yet. And it'll grow beautifully in here, and the roots won't be bound. It'll get a nice, good root system in there. And that is how you transplant a seedling to a bigger pot. So some people would say seedling transplant, maybe some would just say regular transplant, but this is the process you would need if you're starting in a smaller cell system to move up. Do not leave them in your 72 cell tray all the way. You will not get healthy plants. Right, there's one. So this one looks like it got kind of shallow roots. That could be because I pushed the soil down a little bit too much and it didn't get a chance to really go deep, but I'm still gonna plant it in a pot and I think it should be okay. Stick it in there.
like the best. Whoa. That's the best one yet.
Did you see that? I'm just making the markers here. And how I do it is I'll write jalapeno, I'm gonna write ×3, and that will tell me that those 3 pots are jalapeno and those 3 pots are jalapeno. So these are all transplanted. I brought them back inside. And what I did was I have these bottom watering trays. I poured water in the bottom and they're all sitting in there. And they do look a little droopy, and that's normal once they have a little bit maybe like root shock, but they will bounce back up. So don't get worried if they're kind of falling over. Give them a couple days and they will all be very spry again. And that concludes transplanting a seedling into a bigger pot. If you have questions, you can leave them below and I will answer them for you. We'll link some stuff below also to help you continue the process of gardening. And as always, I want to leave you with a tip of encouragement. Don't get discouraged in starting seeds. Sometimes they won't all pop up. Sometimes you'll get it wrong. You will get it wrong, but that's all part of learning. Keep trying, keep moving forward, and learn from the people that have gone before you. When I first started gardening, and even now, I am continually learning from other gardeners. So don't feel like you have to know it all. I don't know it all yet, but that's a process. I think that even if you would talk to someone who's been gardening for decades, would still be learning. That we should always be lovers of learning new things, and the garden is a great place to continually learn. So I hope that your seeds are doing good and you are growing beautiful things outdoors, inside, all around. Focus on the lovely, the good, the true, the pure.